What's the worst thing a buddy ever said while you two were checking someone out? I have a friend group and one of them has a really cute sister. We saw her ordering food at our university cafeteria, so our buddy went over to go ask her something about carpool plans for the day blah blah. Then one of our friends checking her out with us says, "Hey, you ever notice his sister and him have the exact same ass?" The rest of us couldn't finish our lunch that day. Reflective edit: among reading these so far, it seems the most popular ones are variations of eating corn out of her shit or turd cutters. Then runner-up: Ye Old Faithful dragging balls across glass in a desert to hear her fart through a walkie-talkie. The rest line up with ways of sucking her dad's D to admire the source of her creation. Also, to those saying my friends and I are homophobic for our reactions, I gladly spelled it out to some of you, then sarcastically spelled it out to the rest of you. But to be clear, I understand/sympathize your concern with what I said, but at the same time, I reject all of it and regret nothing. The rest of you are cool, understood how the situation played out, and I love reading everything being shared. Have a nice day, and your ass looks great as well. Group of guys were talking about women and my buddy says, "I like my women to have the ass of a 14 years old boy." They never let him live it down. Heard a guy say, "I'd shave her legs with my teeth if she asked me." At the vocational school I attended, there was this meme where if they found out you were out with a girl, they would ask, "But did you pee in her butt?" I'm not sure where that came from, but it was a thing, I guess. I watched him suck a random woman's foot on Bourbon Street. Mind you, this woman was wearing open-toed shoes on Bourbon, which is the nastiest street in the city. His opening line, "Damn girl, you got some suckable feet." Once we were talking about ass or tits and we turned to one and said, "Yo, ass or tits?" And he replies with, "On a woman?" Edit: highest amount of upvotes I have ever gotten, and it's about my friend who was startled LMAO. This happened when I was around 16 years old. I was on vacation with my parents in some faraway land, when this dude, who's from the same country as me, comes up to me and points to a girl standing a few feet away from us. "Do you see that chick? What a great ass does she have, don't you think? Looks really sweet. I'd like to have a go on that, such a sexy thing." I turned to him and said, "Dude, that's my little sister." I never forget how pale he instantly got. He tried to make it up to me and suck up to me the whole time we were staying there. He did make out with my sister, though. Legit, a few times in school I've made friends off of checking out a cute girl that we just look each other like, "Damn, I know, right?" Amazing. My favorite was I had a friend who's extremely cute, but I didn't see her in a romantic way, but she's very fit and we were in a study group together. She went out into the hall to take a phone call, and on the way out my eyes wandered, of course, and a dude across the room said, "AYE, I saw that," but in a happy tone like he did it too. Then I was like, "YHHH volleyball." "Oh really?" "Yeah, for a couple years since we met." Nice. The other people around us who didn't see us checking her out have no idea what we are talking about. Bonus memory: a couple years later we saw each other in the hallway, but I couldn't remember his name while his face had this "I know you but ick where" look. So I said, "AYE, fellow volleyball fan." "Fellow volleyball fan, what's up?" Fist bump and walk away to never see again. Hope he's doing well, whatever his name was, and I just graduated a few weeks ago. Had a friend in law school who was much older than the rest of us, mid-30s at the time. He described an attractive female classmate as follows: "I'd suck the farts from her asshole." He only asked her out later. 10 years later, they're married with kids. My cousin and I were walking into a convenience store once. As we were walking in, this chick was walking out. He says to her, "Goddamn girl, after seeing you, I'm going to go touch myself in the car." Me and her were both mortified. I looked at him and said, "Why the F did you just say that?" Not a buddy, but a coworker who had absolutely no idea of timing. I was looking at the backside of one of the cute waitresses and said person blurted quite loudly, "Oh, you are looking at ass." Everyone in the kitchen paused for an instant. Said waitress said she was flattered though, laughing face. My friend and I noticed this really pretty woman wearing a skirt and walking in bare feet. My buddy, drooling over her hotness, says, "Oh, I hope she steps in dog poo." Used to think it was a culture thing, but it seems pretty omnipresent. I didn't realize it till I ended up following a girl. I was supposed to be following her, I was just hung over as F and lagged behind. She was an attractive blonde and I'm a brown guy in a hoodie. No one thought we knew each other at all. I was disgusted at how many dudes were just straight up creepy or outright intimidating towards her. One guy was aggressive. At that point I caught up and went off at him. I was ready to kick his shit in. I asked her about it all, because she seemed unfazed. Apparently that was normal. A friend of my wife's was getting married soon and the husband-to-be invites me on the bachelor trip. Me, white dude, hanging out in a jacuzzi day drinking in Vegas with him and some of his buddies. We hit it off with some other people in the jacuzzi and just shooting the shit. One couple is a white dude and black girl. She's a total babe and way cool. But her boyfriend is way cool too, so no one in our group is hitting on her or anything like that. Then one of our guys, Mexican dude, says out of the blue, "So how long have you been into black chicks?" Everyone stopped and looked at him in disbelief. At a place I used to work we had a new start with a flowing curly mop of hair and one of my colleagues turned to the other and said, "There is not enough shampoo in this town to get the cum out of her hair that I would put in it." Speechless. Was working for my buddy's concrete business one summer. The crew rode to job sites from my buddy's house in an old short school bus. We stop at a gas station. I'm outside the bus chatting with my buddy while he pumps gas. Two college-age girls walk out of the store in our direction. They're about 10 feet away when I hear a window above me slide down. I look up to see a guy on our crew stick his head out the window. This dude was rough. He grew up and still lived in our town's dilapidated trailer park. He was in his late 20s and looked like he was in his late 40s. He had a mohawk ponytail, a pockmarked face, and he was missing half his teeth. "Damn girls," he says. "I'd like to lick the both of you from your butthole to your belly button." Then he punctuates it with a big lick in the air accompanied by a slurping sound. Both their faces went from shock to disgust as they walked on. My buddy and I had to yell apologies to them over the cackling coming from inside the bus. I would drink her bathwater. I've said this. So I'm newly single for the first time in years, and I've been relearning how to hit on women. I won't lie, I used this line on Tinder as a "F it, I'll just try it" kind of experiment, fully expecting it not to work. And now I have a FWB, so hooray? Us sitting at Starbucks. Him, damn, look at the ass of those two girls. Me, I'm pretty sure those are high schoolers from across the street. Him, if they were laying in your bed naked, you wouldn't be asking their age. Me, frantically make sure Chris Hansen isn't around. While myself and my two other co-workers that I share an office with were at each other's workstations, the young female intern came into the office. She starts explaining on how she got project names mixed up and it won't happen again. Once she leaves, coworker 1, guy is married and a couple of years older than me, jokingly says she is perfect for me. I say no and explain why. Coworker 2, am late 40s and is married, without hesitating after I explain, she's got a nice turd shooter. There was silence for a few seconds and coworker 1 and me look at each other and laugh hysterically. I basically say never say that again. I was stuck in the hospital over 1,000 miles from home while traveling for work after being diagnosed with pneumonia with sepsis. Despite my situation, it hadn't escaped me that many of the nurses who were taking care of me, I was able to get up and walk around, eat just fine, etc., probably one of the lower maintenance patients they had that week, by giving me my IVs, fixing my EKG monitor, checking up on me, were fairly attractive women around my age range. One of my coworkers came to visit me while I was there. Whereas I kept my thoughts about the nurses to myself, he very loudly, and somewhat vulgarly, don't remember exactly what he said, commented on them while one of the nurses was right outside my room. I was released the next day and made a full recovery. She'll be a ride in a couple years. So, essentially acknowledging a 13 to 15-year-old is attractive now, and will be legally attractive in a few years. Mind, we were 17 back then, and now to see how many guys have hooked up with these aforementioned girls since they've become legal. A friend's mom once said to me, if only you were a couple years older. I was 15 at the time, and she was just turning 30. I moved away, so I never got to find out whether she was waiting for me to become legal. Okay, so my boyfriend before we started dating was talking to a friend of his about me, and he said, hey, she's got a damn nice pair of getaway sticks in reference to my legs. I heard him, and 3 years later we're still dating. Some friends from work and I were discussing celebrity women and who we thought was more attractive than the others. One of them pointed out he thought Ariana Grande was the most attractive out of the group of women we were talking about. He went on to talk about her petite frame, innocent look, and her ass, blah blah blah. After a moment he said in the creepiest way, and she looks really young. Keep in mind the women we were talking about were all under 30. I'm never bringing my future kids, especially daughters, around that man, ever. At the college gym, and a woman bends down to put a dumbbell back on the rack. He says, do you think she bent down purposely for us? Like, no dude, she's putting the 15 pounds back where she found them. Nothing to do with us. Another time in public when a girl with a low-cut shirt walked by. He asked, hey man, think she wanted to show us her goods? Like, no dude, she just likes wearing low-cut shirts. Nothing to do with us. Not your shock statements like others in this thread, but a long line of creepy vibes on fantasizing women doing or wearing explicit things to specifically get our attention. Oh boy, here we go. I have a few good ones I've heard from a former chef of mine, RIP. 1. I would eat a mile of her shit just to see where it came from. 2. I would suck a fart out of her ass and hold it in like a bong rip. 3. She's got an ass like a sack of Legos and I feel like building something. 4. She's got an ass like a 10-year-old boy. What? 5. Good thing I'm twice her age, she looks like she has daddy issues. He was honestly such a great guy, just loved saying fed up shit for the shock value. Hope you are bang-ripping angel farts in the clouds, my dude. I was in the US Air Force and deployed to Kyrgyzstan in 2004. A variety of other countries had troops at the same base, to include the Netherlands. One day I'm hanging out with a female coworker and a group of Dutch Air Force officers. The female coworker is an open lesbian. A Dutch female airman walks by us and everyone stares. She's the most beautiful girl on base and everyone knows who she is. Tall, blonde, perfect body, etc. My lesbian friend starts talking about the blonde, how hot she is, all the things she'd like to do to her. Normally when she talks like this the guys laugh. This time all the Dutch guys remain dead silent and serious. My lesbian friend realizes she said something wrong, so she just asks what. The commander of the Dutch Air Force contingent on that base, one of the highest ranking men on base, says that is my daughter. My friend turns white and starts to apologize profusely, saying how sorry she is. One of the things that American forces are reminded of routinely is that we represent the US when working with allied troops, that we must work hard to bring great credit on our country blah blah blah. Offending the commander of an allied force would be a big problem for her. So after about 20 seconds of her apologizing her ass off, the commander starts to laugh his ass off and tells her not to worry about it. I will warn her to stay away from you though, he joked. So, close call for my friend.